Hello everybody, my name is James Carrington. I'm a Partner Success Consultant with Receipt Bank, and today I'm going to be talking you through getting started with Receipt Bank. So just a quick overview of the learning objectives. By the end of this webinar, you'll be able to download the Receipt Bank mobile app and access your account, submit items to your accountant or bookkeeper using the Receipt Bank mobile app, the email in, and the Invoice Fetch. And you'll also be able to respond to messages from your accountant or bookkeeper through the mobile app. So first, a quick note on why you might use Receipt Bank, or why it's been recommended by your accountant or bookkeeper. First of all, it's probably the easiest and fastest way of submitting cost paperwork to your accountant. All you have to do is take a picture and send it, much quicker than hoarding all that paperwork and then posting it or driving it down to your accountant or bookkeeper. The aim of this, obviously, not only to save you time but also reduce your tax bill, because the more easier it is to capture your paperwork, hopefully the more paperwork you'll capture, so that means more claimable expenses and less tax to pay. And finally, everything you put through Receipt Bank will be stored in a secure online account that is entirely digitized, searchable, and held for as long as required by HMRC. So you've got full audit security in an easy to access manner. So let's see how this is actually going to work for you. Firstly, you're going to have received an invite from your accountant or bookkeeper, and it can come in one of two forms. Either an email that looks like this, or a text that looks like this. Now, the email is to help you log into the web version of Receipt Bank on your computer, and the text is to help you log in, get set up with the mobile app on your mobile phone. And basically, the first thing that you're going to be asked to do whenever you click either on the Create Your Account button here or following the link in this text is that you're going to create a password for your account. So make sure it's something that you'll find easy to remember. So, just focusing on the mobile route for now, when you have created that password, you'll be prompted to click a link that will take you to either the Apple Store or the App Store on iOS or the Play Store on Android. And I'm going to show you how this works on both Apple phones and Android phones side by side as much as possible. So essentially all you need to do is download the app as you see it here on either of the app stores that you have access to. Then you need to fill in the login details with your email address and the password that you've just set up. And a note here is to make sure that when you are accessing the app that you're logging in and not creating a new account from scratch, because that will set you up with a trial and your accountant has already got you a working account in this, so we're just logging into the account that we've just set the password for. So when you're then in the app, it'll take you first and foremost to your inbox. Now it might not look like this, it might be empty, but just so you understand, this is where once you've taken photos and submitted your paperwork to Receipt Bank, then all of your costs and expenses will show up on this page here and you'll be able to review them all. Now, you'll have noticed on the last page that there's a camera button at the bottom of the inbox, and we tap on that, and that's the way that we can take photographs to submit our receipts and invoices into the system. Doesn't matter if it's a receipt or an invoice or any piece of paper, as long as you can take a clear photograph that you can read. The system can read anything that the human eye can. So you'll notice at the bottom that there are multiple ways you can use the camera. So each photograph, regardless of which mode you take it in, needs to just be a single side of one document. Like for example here we've got the Sainsbury's receipt on the side there, and here we've got something from John Lewis. So notice that we're not taking one photograph containing either multiple sides of the same document or multiple different documents. So Single mode is what you'll probably use most. It's just where you can flick onto the camera, take one photograph, and then submit it straight away. Multiple mode is if maybe you're at the end of the day, you've taken out your wallet or your purse, and you've emptied out all of your receipts and invoices onto your desk, and you want to take a series of pictures of individual receipts and invoices. So that's one document per picture, and then the idea of that is to speed up the process so that you can take all your photos and then review them and submit them in bulk. Finally, the combine mode is where you can take multiple photos, but the idea is that you're combining each of those photos into a single document. So you might use that on a double-sided receipt or an invoice that has one or more pages. And after you've taken the photo, regardless of which mode, you'll be prompted to add information to that. So you'll see that once you've taken the photo here, it will pop up with the options below to set a category, and so that category relates to the chart of accounts for your business, maybe associate it with a customer for billing purposes, or to add a description to it, so you can let your accountant know what it is. Now, you don't have to do this. If it's something that's a bit out of the ordinary, you might want to add a description, but otherwise, in terms of category and customer, this is all stuff that your accountant can do for you using the web app once you've submitted it. So to keep things nice and quick and easy for you, we recommend just taking the photo and clicking submit in the top right, or the little paper aeroplane arrow symbol here in Android to send it across, and then your accountant can review all of that stuff for you. Now, when the item has been submitted, it will appear in your inbox as you see, and once we've finished processing the data by reading the photograph that you've taken, you'll be able to click into the item and review the photo that you've taken, as well as looking at the details below. So you'll see here, once it's been processed, you'll note that we find out what type of item it is, the date on the item itself, the invoice number, due date, supplier, currency, total amount and tax, and also you can add a description at this point as well and change the category. But generally speaking, there's no need to worry about any of this. Once you've actually submitted the document to your accountant or bookkeeper, unless they've told you otherwise, they can handle all this stuff, but you can review it if you want to. And here's how it looks on Android. You see it looks a little bit different, but basically exactly the same idea. We have a list of all of the items based on the supplier, the date and the amount, and when we click into it, we can review the photograph that we've taken and all the details that have been extracted by Receipt Bank. There's also the ability for you to email in receipts and invoices. So obviously, in an increasingly digital world, a lot of the invoices and receipts you're going to receive will come through from a supplier via email. And what you can do in this case is, rather than having to take a screenshot or photograph a screen on your phone, Receipt Bank actually provides you with an email in address where you can it's personalized to you. You forward the email to that address, and we will look into the body of the email as well as all the attachments and find all of the various invoices and receipts on there for you and extract the data as if you'd taken a photo. So on the iOS, all you have to do is go to the settings button, and you'll see right at the top there, it will tell you the name of your business and give you your email in address just below here. So you notice it's always the one that ends at receiptbank.me. This one at the top is the one that you'd log in with. So the email in this case would be melinda.le.man@receiptbank.me, and you can find the same thing in the Android app. You just have to open up the menu and click email in, and then it will again show you your email in address there. And you can click that to add as a contact to your phone to make sending those emails from your phone easier as well. Now, one thing that's worth noting is that when you are sending this email, you just put the email in address at the top when forwarding the invoice email that you've received. You can also use your accountant's email to CC them in and add a note above the forwarded message. It's also worth noting that when you're on your computer, you should save your email in address as a contact and maybe give it a short name, a nickname like email in, which will allow you to just type email in and then it'll come up with that contact and you can forward stuff easily that way. Also, if there's a certain email address that you only get invoices from, you can set up auto forwarding rules within your email service to automatically forward all items from that contact or that address to your email in address, just so it's completely hands-free. You know it's all getting automatically sent to Receipt Bank. So now we'll move on to Invoice Fetch, which is another way that you can submit items through to Receipt Bank. And there's two different ways you can do this. So the first one we'll cover is how you can connect via email, but you can also log in and connect via web. And just to note, the Invoice Fetch is a system by which you provide your login details to a given supplier to Receipt Bank. You do that once, and then Receipt Bank will log in for you automatically every week and pull out any new documents in that supplier account. So the first way we'll cover that you might get this is that you might receive an email from Receipt Bank that your accountant has sent to you, and it will show you that whoever your accountant's name has asked you to connect with a certain supplier. You just click the big green button that says Connect to Supplier. Then below that you'll see it'll open a web page, again confirming that it's Receipt Bank with all of the branding, and it'll let you know which supplier you're connecting to. You provide your username and password, and then how many documents you'd like it to pull through. We recommend that you change this to just the last 30 days. And then finally, this is what those items will look like when they pull through automatically into your inbox. And this is really useful because, of course, it can stop you having to, log into your mobile phone provider or your internet provider or maybe your utility bill provider every month to pull out those receipts and invoices for your bookkeeper or accountant. Now, you might also take it on your own back to go and do this for yourself rather than waiting to receive an email from your accountant. If that's the case, just log into Receipt Bank as you will have done after receiving the email that we covered at the beginning, and then you'll be in your own account, and on the left hand side, the black navigation bar, you'll be able to scroll down to a section that says Manage and Connections, and under Connections you'll see something that says Costs, and as soon as you click on that it'll take you to the Invoice Fetch page. There you can click the green button to add a connection, and at that point it will recommend some suppliers to you which you can go ahead and connect to if you want to, or you can click the full list button and search for the supplier that you'd like to connect to, and then connect to them in exactly the same way, following the same steps that we discussed previously. So putting in your username and details for that supplier and pressing connect after choosing how much documentation you'd like it to pull through, either every available item or just the last 30 days. Of course, we recommend just the last 30 days. Now, another great thing is that your accountant or bookkeeper can actually contact you through the mobile app to get clarification about the documentation that you've submitted. So when you're on the iPhone version, sometimes when you'll get notifications letting you know that your accountant or bookkeeper has sent you a message relating to one of the items that you've submitted. All you then have to do is go to your inbox and you'll see this little note icon appearing next to the item in question. You can tap into that item and then see again, just on the detail pane, a little button that looks like a note. Tap on that and then you'll see a note from your accountant there. So in this case you can see that your accountant would like to know which team it's for. So you can just type a note back to them saying it's for the warehouse team, thank you. If you need to check before responding, you can just press back and it will take you back to the overview of the item that you've actually submitted. This looks very similar on Android, apart from to access the messages that you've received, you just go to the menu on the left hand side and then click to your notifications, and you'll see you get notifications showing which items you've receive notes about. So here, for example, you see this EE invoice has a comment on it. So you click on that, and first of all, it'll show you the messages, but you can click onto the details to see the picture of the invoice or receipt that your accountant's referring to before replying. And then once you send the reply, it'll dismiss those notifications for you. Another thing that your accountant might do is actually request for you to submit paperwork through the app. And they can do this by looking at the bank feed that you've supplied them with and sending you a report of all of the outstanding items on that bank feed that you haven't submitted paperwork for. So this is a great way of reminding you to claim as much money against your tax as possible. And so on the iPhone, you'll see that at the top of the inbox, you get this notification saying that there are 3 items of outstanding paperwork. You click onto that and it will show you the supplier, the date, and the amount. So all you have to do is click on that, find the paperwork, and then click Submit Paperwork. That'll open up the camera as normal, allowing you to submit that paperwork to your accountant. Once you've done that, it'll disappear off the list. Or maybe you don't have that paperwork to hand, it's lost or you can't find it. In that case, just dismiss this request and your accountant won't chase you for that again. Here's how it looks in Android. Again, very similar. You just open up the menu, click to Outstanding Paperwork, and it'll show you that same list, and again give you the option to either add the receipt or dismiss it. So just reviewing what we've learned today, we've looked at how you can download the Receipt Bank mobile app and access your account, how to then submit items through the mobile app, also through the email in address and the Invoice Fetch, and we've looked at how we can use the app to respond to messages from your accountant or bookkeeper and keep on top of those outstanding paperwork reports. So, if you have any questions, you can of course ask your accountant or bookkeeper who will have more information, or feel free to go to help.receipt-bank.com and we've got a full help centre there which you can simply search on to find out answers to any of the questions you might have. Thanks for your time. I hope this was helpful.